Which is better, the Umidigi X or the Bold N1? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison video between the Umidigi X and Bold N1. So let's get started. Now both of these devices are currently available on Amazon.com, and if you're interested in buying them, then definitely take a look at the link in the video description. Another thing too is that I'm sure over time, the prices for these phones will be changing, so also take a look at those links to see the most up-to-date pricing. Now both devices, after various discounts, are currently being offered for $199. So the Umidigi X is listed at $219.99, and there is currently a $20 off coupon that you can redeem if you buy the phone on Amazon, putting the price down to $199. And at the moment, the Bold N1 is being offered on Amazon for $199, so the same price for both phones. Both devices are also available GSM unlocked, so in the US, they're going to work with AT&T, T-Mobile, Cricket, and Metro by T-Mobile, as well as smaller GSM carriers such as Mint Mobile. The Umidigi X features a 6.35-inch display, which is AMOLED. It features a 720p resolution with a PPI of 269 with a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. And the Bold N1 features a 6.4-inch display at 1080p. It's also AMOLED. You get a PPI of 403 and features a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. Now you can see, holding these two devices up next to each other, there is a pretty major difference here that you probably noticed already, and that difference is that there is no notch at all with the Bold N1. Now the Umidigi X does have a teardrop notch at the top, and also the chin on the bottom of the Umidigi X is a bit thicker than the one that you get with the Bold N1. But what's cool is that with the Bold N1, we actually have a pop-up front-facing camera, which is why and how we're able to get no notch here at the top. Now holding the two phones up next to each other, you can see that the display is indeed a little bit bigger on the Bold N1, but you're really not gaining a ton of extra screen real estate with this phone. I guess what really makes it special by not having that notch up top is that if you go and watch videos on YouTube or anywhere else, you're going to have a very immersive experience with nothing in the way. Whereas with this phone, you will have the notch in the way when watching videos. On the other hand though, maybe for the long term, having a teardrop notch will be a bit more reliable than having a pop-up camera that relies on a motor. So that's kind of your choice to make. I've had nothing but good experiences with the pop-up front-facing camera on the Bold N1 so far, but you never know how things will be a year or two down the road. And like I mentioned already, both phones feature AMOLED displays, which is excellent because AMOLED is amazing. It's way better than LCD or any other display technology out there that I've covered with a budget device. These displays are super sharp with very good looking and clear colors. So overall, I'm a big fan of AMOLED. Now up top here with the Umidigi X, we have a 16 megapixel front-facing camera, and the front-facing camera on the Bold N1 is 13 megapixels. With both phones, we're getting 128 gigabytes of internal storage. There is no wireless charging with the Umidigi X, but there is wireless charging with the Bold N1. Now another thing that both phones have in common here is that they both feature an in-screen fingerprint sensor. So we'll try this out first on the Umidigi X, and as you can see, it was very quick. Now we'll try it on the Bold N1, and very quick as well. So both phones have very good, accurate fingerprint sensors built into the displays here, and it's definitely a great feature. Now with the Umidigi X, we get Face Unlock as an additional way to unlock the phone. But with the Bold N1, there is no Face Unlock. You can either use a PIN code, or you can use the in-screen fingerprint sensor, but that's all you get. So that's definitely an advantage that you do get with the Umidigi X. Now on the back sides of the phones, they both have the camera modules, but there's also some very big differences with this as well. So with the Umidigi X, we have a triple camera setup with a 48 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and an 8 megapixel wide angle camera. So this phone does indeed have a wide angle camera, but with the Bold N1, we have a dual camera setup with a 16 megapixel main camera and a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera. So no wide angle camera with the Bold N1. So for example, right now I'm using the wide angle camera with the Umidigi X, and the standard camera on the Bold N1, and you can see how much more content I can fit into the display here. Now I'm switching over to the standard camera, and you can see it's pretty similar on both phones. Now overall, based on my experiences with these devices, I do think that the Bold N1 has the better camera of the two. However, it's definitely nice to have a wide-angle option with the Umidigi X. But definitely watch my full review videos of both devices to see some very in-depth camera coverage. Now both phones feature 4GB of RAM. With the Umidigi X, we're getting the MediaTek Helio P60 processor, and with the Bold N1, we're getting the MediaTek Helio P70. So a better processor with the Bold N1, but we are still getting a decent processor with the Umidigi X. But you can actually see though, from this Antutu benchmark test that I did of the two devices, the X gets a better score overall compared to the Bold N1. And you can see the comparison between these two scores. I think one of the reasons why the Umidigi X gets a better score, despite it having a slightly weaker processor compared to the Bold N1, is because with the Umidigi X, it is a 720p display versus 1080p with the Bold N1. Now video recording on both devices maxes out at 1080p. We're getting a 4150 mAh internal battery with the Umidigi X, and with the Bold N1 we're getting a smaller battery at 3500 mAh. Now both phones currently run Android 9 Pie, however Bold has pledged to upgrade the Bold N1 to Android 10 as soon as they can, and Umidigi has not made any sort of promise about that with the X. We get NFC with the Umidigi X, and there is no NFC with the Bold N1. Now that we've compared the specifications of these two phones, let's dive a little bit deeper into the hardware comparison. So as I mentioned before, some pretty major differences and similarities with these phones. I like how they both feature AMOLED displays and they both look really good. We are getting 720p with the Umidigi X versus 1080p with the Bold N1. So that is one difference between them. We're getting a teardrop notch with the Umidigi X and no notch with the Bold N1. Now on the sides of both phones, we do get a metal band. It's chrome on the Umidigi X compared to a more blacked out band on the Bold N1. On the left side of the Umidigi X, we have nothing. And on the left side of the Bold N1, we have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. Then on the right side, both phones feature the power button and volume button. Then on the top, on the Umidigi X, we have the noise canceling microphone, and we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the Bold N1 up top, we just have the noise canceling microphone and the pop-up front-facing camera. Then take a look at the bottom of the two phones. On the Umidigi X, we have the microphone, we have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and we have the speaker. And with the Bold N1, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, we have the microphone, we have the USB-C port, and we have the speaker. So pretty good designs overall with these two phones. Then on the back side here, they both have a reflective material. It's a piano black color on the Bold N1, but on the Umidigi X, we have this really cool looking red and black color. So I definitely like the way both phones look, and I feel like they both feature very decent hardware for sure, especially considering their prices. Both phones feel really solid in the hands. I'm going to play the first 7 seconds of this video on both devices, and it's going to pick up the moment that the audio is the loudest. So the volume is maxed out on both of them. So let's see which one is the louder of the two.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, and in this video we're going to be talking about one of the newest features from Visible called...
So a maximum of 105 on here.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, and in this video we're going to be talking about one of the newest features from Visible called...
And then you can see the score is 109 on the Bold N1. So the Bold N1 is the louder phone of the two with a louder speaker. So keep that in mind. But I do feel like both phones do feature decent speakers, especially for the price. Let's now do a speed test comparison between these two devices. We're going to start by pulling up the camera applications. So 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the Umidigi X was a bit faster. Let's now pull up Google Chrome. 1, 2, 3, go. Umidigi X was faster at pulling up Chrome. Let's go to Yahoo. 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like the X was quicker at pulling up Yahoo as well. Let's go to Engadget.com. 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like with Engadget, the Bold N1 was quicker at pulling it up. Scrolling is very smooth on both phones. Let's go to this article right here. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the Bold N1 was a little bit quicker at pulling up the article as well. So both phones feature their own pros and cons when put up against each other. So with the Bold N1, we're getting a 1080p display versus a 720p display with the Umidigi X. But with the Umidigi X, we get a wide-angle camera, and there's no wide-angle camera with the Bold N1. The Umidigi X also has a better benchmark rating, and the Umidigi X has a teardrop notch for the front-facing camera versus a pop-up mechanism for the Bold N1 for the front-facing camera. So that's kind of a personal preference for that, especially because I'm not sure which one you trust more. But both phones feature AMOLED displays, they both feature very large displays, they both have good sounding speakers on the bottom, and they both have very nice and quick and accurate in-screen fingerprint sensors. So I'm very happy about that with both of these. So overall, it really does depend on what's the most important to you. Would you rather have a wide-angle camera and the other bonuses with the X, or would you rather have the various bonuses with the Bold N1? Definitely let me know what you think in the comment section below. Check out the links below as well to look at either of these phones on Amazon, and I will see you in the next video.